Welcome, teachers, and I hope you're doing well. Today, 3rd April, we have a session on GeoGebra 3D. And in this session, I'll be sharing some of the ideas for your middle school or high school classes, how you can integrate GeoGebra 3D and to make learning visual. And it will definitely help your students to explore more of the things. And if there is anything you want to learn specifically, please do write in the chat. Thank you, and let's begin. So first of all, I would go to GeoGebra 3D, GeoGebra, just GeoGebra. If you type on Google, and you will see this GeoGebra, world's favorite free math tool. And on the top right, it is your credentials, your login IDs or whatever email you have signed in. So it is your account. So please do sign in if you haven't. And in the profile section, you can definitely edit later on your email IDs or other things. If you go to home button, then you will see different things from GeoGebra here. Calculator suite, 3D calculator, CAS, geometry, and other things. You don't need to download GeoGebra software because everything or all the functionalities are working on the web versions itself. So to begin with GeoGebra 3D, on the left side, you can see there are few things. And if you go to app downloads, here you will explore all the applications from GeoGebra. And today we'll focus on 3D calculator. If you want to download, really, if you want to download, I will not recommend GeoGebra Classic 6. Better you download GeoGebra Classic 5 because it will give you both 2D, 3D, and other modes also. So because I'm not downloading right now, so I'll begin on 3D calculator. Because on mobile apps also you can use the same one. So click on 3D calculator. And if you have done something, it will definitely ask you to recover some unsaved changes. I can click on recover or just delete. If that is the thing, I can just save them and start a new one. So you can see now everything is clear and I can see 3 x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. I hope you understand by the color scheme. The red arrow is representing the x-axis, the green one is for y, and the blue one is for z. And definitely you can rotate wherever you want. And if you think I want to set the standard view, click on the home button here. So it will reset all the settings for you for this window. For zoom in, zoom out, definitely you can use these buttons. And if you don't want to see this plane, the coordinate plane, I mean to say, so here you can go to settings and you can hide them like this. You can hide the x-axis, y-axis as well. You want to see the grid, definitely you can click on the grid. So this will help you or your students to visualize on the grid and on the plane. So I know some of the basic things you guys are already aware, but in case you want to just play around first time, and then I would recommend whenever you type in this algebra view, because let me also give you the idea of tools. If you click on the tools, there are inbuilt tools in GeoGebra 3D, which you can definitely use. Let me just reload it. Yeah. So in the tools, you can find different commands which are inbuilt. And you can see whatever things are happening here, and then you can use them. But for the beginners, you can click on algebra and at least start exploring the coordinates. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to type letters, not numbers. If I type numbers, definitely I can see easily 2, 3, and 4. You can see. So 2 units on x-axis and 3 units on y-axis and 0 on z-axis. But if I type it, let's say 3 here, then you can see the point which is right here, and you can play around with it. You can move it wherever you want, but it won't help you wherever you are moving, because you are not seeing it from all the perspectives. So maybe you are moving in one direction, but it is not happening. It is definitely happening in all 3 directions. So in order to avoid that, I would recommend to use letters. So just use A, B, and C. Until you click enter, it will show you this warning sign. But when you click the enter, it will create sliders for you. So what is the benefit of these sliders? You can manipulate A. A means the X component, and you can see the movement. Look. So let me put B0 so that we can see it exactly what is happening with my. Okay, so B is 0. Now I can move this. I can put C also 0 if I want, so that you guys can see the point is lying on the red line, which is the x-axis. So I'm changing only the x component. If it is difficult for you to see, just go to these 3 dots and change the color. Let's just put the blue color, and the color will appear actually because of all 3. I think the opacity was not enough to see. Blue color. Yeah, now we can see this point in blue color. You can also change it from here. Whenever you click, you will have this option. Okay, so if I move B, then you can see it is moving along y-axis. So this is the first thing, because even for you, you need to understand, you may take some time to understand where is the direction actually happening and what changes you are making and how is the impact of that. Now you can see easily it is on y-axis. So that was the purpose of just to show you the direction of these things. And definitely you can move around just to see like that. Let me just use a segment command to draw a line. So I'm gonna use segment, just type segment, and it will show you the possible inputs from there. So you need to choose 2 points in order to create a segment. So first point, I can just choose O, which is origin, and then second point is B, because make sure you are using the caps letters so that it get recognized. If you put lowercase b, then it won't recognize, because B is our slider, not a point. So here you can see I have my segment. And if you try to move B, you can see the movement in the sliders itself. So right now it is only happening in y-axis, and in other axis, it won't give you the axis, because the last changes what we were doing, it was on x-axis. So, but from here you can play it. So I hope this way you can definitely explore the vectors, the directions, and other things using very simple GeoGebra 3D tool. Now, let me go to the tools, because what we can do with the tools here. So we can create polygons, perpendicular lines, parallel lines, pyramids, prism, tetrahedron, cube, sphere, etc. And you can also have a net of some of the shapes. And vectors also you can play around. But what I wanted to show you how to create polygons with this. So if you type poly, have a look. So if you type poly, there are multiple options for you, what you can use. Sorry. So polygon can be created using list of points, point, number of vertices. So if I use this, I just need to enter point O. Let's say O is my first point, B is my second point, number of vertices, 3, nothing, 5, 4, whatever I'm typing, there is nothing happening because it is considering as a 2D. So I have to tell the direction. So put the comma and tell the direction. So if that is the case, we can have it some sort of polygon because it is not showing a polygon. Let me see what is the reason. OB, okay, because B should be considered, yes. Let me just type it again. Polygon, because in 2D, definitely you can see easily, but in 3D, you have some other things. Look at this, the next one. Point, number of vertices, and then the direction. Because my point is already in this space. That's why it is not. Let me just put my C0. You can manually put 0 here, and the slider will set to 0. Now, if I do the same thing, polygon. So the first point which I want to use is 0, 0, 0. Second point is B, then number of vertices. You can see now it is visible. Look at this. If I change my number of vertices to 7 or 8, I can see a bigger polygon, right? And using this polygon, I can create any other shape which are available in the tools also, or you can manually type as well. Let's say cube, pyramid, or prisms. So these type of things you can definitely create. And let's say I want to create a prism. So just type PRISM. As soon as you type 3 letters, you will see the possible things which are available in GeoGebra commands. So you can pick any one: prism, polygon, and point, prism, polygon, height value. Let me just choose the second one. So my polygon is, have a look, whatever polygon I have created, GeoGebra will give it a specific name to that particular thing. Now it is POLY, poly1. You can also define your names, but for now it's okay. You can just use them. I just typed POLY, poly1, and then I'm going to enter the height. So height can be 5 or 4. You can see easily. Have a look. So we have created a prism from a regular polygon. And to manipulate the side, definitely you can change your sliders. Look at this. Because these sliders are changing my coordinates of B, which is resulting change in the length of segment which we have created. And you can just play around. Look at this. I have changed the A value. So see, the purpose was not moving the object, but when you change one slider, and yes, please, Kavita.
Yeah, so I'm not able to form my polygon. I've entered the same command as you. I want to know what is the error.
Okay, you can, what you have to do, make sure the
Hmm.
point which has the y-axis, look at this. If my C was my z-axis component, if it is in this
Hmm.
space, you won't see the polygon because of the direction.
Okay.
So you make
Okay.
sure you have it 0. Look at this,
Okay.
because then it will lie on the surface, on the plane,
All right.
so that you can see it. It is actually
I'll
existing,
try
but
that.
we are not telling the direction properly. That's why it was not happening.
Okay, we'll try that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Let's create a pyramid now. You guys can actually hide them. If you don't want to see them, just hide it from here. The corresponding things will go away. And let's say let's create a pyramid. So similar manner as you have created prism, for pyramid also we have the command pyramid, polygon, and the height. So I'm going to type poly1 and then height, let's say 3. Have a look. I have my uh, pyramid. Let me just change the height. Look at this. So I can see my polygon and I can see my pyramid as well. Definitely, as we discussed earlier, we can manipulate the sides. Look at this. I'm changing only the Y component. And if I change the X component, the direction is changing slightly. And if you go to tools, then you can make use of other commands as well. Let's say most useful command is net. So when you click on the net, it will give you the prompt. What are the things you have to select? So click on net. It says select a polyhedron. So which is already, we have it. So I'm gonna click on this window, which is my pyramid. Have a look. As soon as I click on it, I got my net of this particular shape. Of course, it is complicated, but if your shape is simple, then your net will be also simple. Go to algebra view because I want to show you one thing here. As soon as you click net, you will get a slider. Just play this slider and see it. It's a wonderful thing when you see the things are happening dynamically, and students can feel it, what shape of that particular face and how it is getting closed and getting open. You can definitely play it manually and stop it if you want to. Just stop it here. Just stop it and put it on 0. Now you can play it. So this simple task you can create for your students also, as in last classes or last sessions, we discussed about classroom activities. So you add this activity in your GeoGebra classroom and ask your students to manipulate two things. Maybe number one, sides, right? And then number two, this net. They can just play with the slider. Rest of the things, you don't need to say anything. So these two things will help them to visualize these. So any doubt in these basic things? Because there are lots of things which you can explore on your own from here. You can definitely create a cube, sphere, a cone, cylinder, and tetrahedron. Just play around. You will definitely love it. And if you want to move this window, zoom in, zoom out, or you can also move the graphic. Click on the graph. You can actually place it wherever you want, just to give a view to your students that they are sitting in a room, and how to understand x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Please go ahead. Somebody has raised the hands. Yes.
I think we can use area and volume also to find out the area of the polygons, right?
Yeah, area definitely you can. Actually, it is already calculated for you whenever you are entering
Yeah.
anything. Look at this. It's a polygon, and this 15.64 is the area. And if it is a prism, then 46.93 is the volume. So based on every 3D shape, whichever things you are creating, it will automatically calculate for you. But definitely you can, let's say you want to calculate area. Look at this. So you type area and you will get to know 3-4 options, and then you pick one. So area of what? POLY, poly 1. Look at this. So we came out with 15.64, and the poly which we have, it is also 15.64. So this way you can definitely use it. Volume also you can use. Volume, you have to click solid for that. So solid, we have a pyramid, that is E. So I'm gonna click E. Look at this. So volume of E is 26.07. And to manipulate it, let's say you want to run it, you want to show it how the volume is changing, then you can definitely play around with area and the height. The similar manner, let me just save it and then show you that in another manner. 3D shape 1. I've just saved it in case anyone is looking for the link. Just ask. I will share in the chat. Okay, let me just get the new one here. Okay. So what I'm doing now, let's say I want to demonstrate how area and volume are interrelated with the height of a regular shape or for other shapes, let's say pyramid or other things. So you can demonstrate both things. So I'm going to use some points which will be on the XY plane. So let's say 2, 0, 0, which is my first point. Third point, let's say I'm going to take I'm just taking in the other direction so that I can understand the length and width. So minus 0 and 0. Sorry. So I have my 2 points now, and I can create, let's say I want to create a polygon, which is of number of sides. For number of sides, I'm going to use a slider. Let me just use number of sides. This way you can type for your students also. Look, I'm typing because it is a text. It is not a command. So to type any text, use the double quotation mark. So number of sides will be n. So I'm going to use n equals to a slider. So to create any slider, type that letter and enter a random number. Let's say 4. It will create a slider for you, but you want to change the numbers from -5 to 5. Don't worry. Click on these 3 dots, go to settings, and you will see this information slider. So the minima, of course, height can be 0, but maximum, let's say I want to consider as 10, and increment also you can consider by 1, and I can cross it. So have a look. My slider is ready from 0 to 10 with increment of 1. Now, based on number of sides, I'm going to create a polygon. So poly poly, and I'm going to use my points A and B and N. So because N is 2, so it is just a line. So my N should be more than 3 in order to see the polygon. Have a look. So my polygon is ready with N number of sides. And if you think you should change this point to there, definitely you can move them like that. There is no issue. But do not move up and down, because then it will create a problem for you, because you won't be able to see it. So let me just put 2 and -2 like this, so that we are in the center. Look at this. So it's like a rhombus, a square, but in a different shape. Now I'm going to create a slider for its height. So we know the area of this. Let me just use here area of polygon is represented by, you can choose any letter. I'm just choosing AR. Guys, if the meeting ends in 10 minutes, please join back to the same link. So AR is my slider. I'm gonna, not a slider, just a value. So AR equals to area of polygon, POLY polygon. Look at this. So I have now area, which is 8. Now I'm going to create a slider for height. Height slider for height, which is given by H if H is not being used before. So make sure the letters you're using, they are not making double definitions. Okay, so just type H equals to, okay, see, H is already defined. So I should change it. Maybe I will just use H1. So H1 equals a slider. Let's say a random value is 4. Same thing you can do. Go here, click on settings, go to slider, change the minimum value. So increment, definitely we can have one. Okay, cool. So we have a height slider as well. Now we can focus on area and volume. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a prism because prism will have a regular shape. So look at this prism, polygon and height value. So I'm going to choose the second option, polygon, which is my poly1, and height value is h1. Look at this, because if I use h1, then I will have my slider working here. So I can see my cuboid or a cube, right? Whatever things I can create from here, I can manipulate. Now, let me just create the volume. So V1, I'm just using this letter for V1. Volume of O, because my slide, the prism is O. So look at this. So volume is 32, height is 4, and have a look, area is 8. So yeah, it's making sense. 8 times 4 is 32. So we are multiplying both numbers in order to get the volume. Now this was in the case of prism. Now let's create a pyramid. And then you can ask your students to draw the conclusion or just investigate why they are not same in case of pyramid. So POLY, poly1, and the height one is H1. Again, same. Have a look, it is 10.67, right? So if I divide the volume V1 over U, look at this. The ratio is coming up 3, right? So we can definitely prove it easily here that why the volume is 3 times of pyramid of my prism cuboid, whatever. Oh, we forgot to change number of sides. Let's change number of sides now. So this is something like you can validate for n number of polygon sides. The ratio will remain same. You can see here, height you can change, and your investigation is done. At least students will do something by themselves and learn using their own tools and the questions which you prepare for them like this. So I'm gonna save it and share with you in case you need. So it's the volume. Yeah, Kavita, go ahead. Comparisons, not spellings. Yeah.
Till we made the prism. So when we wanted to show the volume,
Yeah,
can we have like layers inside the prism so that we can show that it's actually multiple layers, each
definitely.
1 unit
Yeah,
of height? Can we show it
let's.
visually?
Yeah, we can definitely show. Of course, you may need to try it multiple times, but let me show you quickly what you can do. What I'm doing here, I'm creating a prism. Okay. And the same polygon I'm going to choose, ULY poly1. Height, I'm going to choose 1, right? Because I can show them that this is the one stack of one thing. Now,
Right.
what I can do, I can move my polygon. What I'm doing, let me just create a poly2 because I'm going to translate my polygon so that I can show them that this is the same cross section, right? So
Hmm.
I understood what you are asking. I'll show you because it will require a different command, which
Okay.
you may not understand, but I will prepare here. So what I want to
Okay.
show here, first of all, translate poly1 with the vector because it should go only in the upward direction. So I'm going to
Hmm.
put 0, 0, and then h1, the height, or we can just put another slider here if we want. Let's say I want to have it T slider, right? Which is not even existing. So we can create the slider for that because T was not created. So I'm just creating here. And the T slider is created or not. Okay, I mean, it's not existing or it just considers something else. Let me just create a slider first of all. because we need to define the slider which is not defined earlier. So let's say capital T1. No, it is already defined. Because for that case, what you can do, what I use actually, in order to avoid, so you type anything and type underscore. Now you T1. So it is better. So T subscript 1 because it was not defined earlier. So it is easy for me. Now I can enter here T1. So using this particular slider, T1, I can demonstrate the cross section at least. And similar way, the way you were asking, we can create number of like layers, right? So for that,
Right.
you can create, let me just try here if you understand. Otherwise, I will just create it and then later you guys can use it. Translate. It just went above. Look at this. I hope now you can understand, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we can show them number of layers, and because each layer is 1 unit height of 1 unit. Because what I did, I have translated my prism, which is from height 1. So this way I can demonstrate how many layers are there based on number of heights.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I use this
Little
command, but
complex. Yeah.
yeah, it
Little
is
complex to
complex.
do. Yes.
Yeah, but I can just leave it here and save it for you. You just need to change the other things. You don't need to change with this sequence command.
Okay.
You just save it. But because you can manipulate with number of sides, you can manipulate height and right. So you can show anything. Let's say for cube, right? 4. Let's just make it 4. Look at this. So we have what you can show one by one. You can show them the prism, right? And hide this sequence. Let me just hide this also because it was not showing. So we can show this is the 1 unit height, cuboid or cube, and then this is the total height. Now in this height, how many we can fit? So that can be shown using this sequence command.
Right.
If it is going above
Thanks,
one, I
Satsamir.
think it is going one layer above. So I can just show because it started from 0. So let me just put it 1 minus. Yeah, now it is perfect because it should be